What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. I wanted to go over this topic. Watch people's intentions, not always their actions. So this is something that I really picked up as I've gained more awareness and consciousness, and opening up myself more to this world, right? You always hear the phrase that people are always saying, don't watch what people say, but watch what they do. And as I've gained more experience in this world, there's more depth into it than just watching somebody's actions, right? But when you start to really become one with this world, right, in one with everything you do, you will start to read people's intentions. You can start to feel people's intentions behind the things they do and the things they say, right? It's a vibe. You can catch on. And when you start clearing the space within yourself, start doing the inner work and start, taking care of some of those traumas, so some of those inner turmoils, what happens is that you become even more sensitive to the world, and you become more heightened to the world and what's around you, and you can start reading people's intentions. So there has been times inside of my life, people have done things, whether I'm at work or something like that, people have done certain things, which means that they have done the appropriate action, but their intentions behind that action it's not pleasant, right? So a lot of people will do things just because, right? Just because it's a part of the job, just because they're a part of a team at work, just because they're a part of this society, or just because they just have to be able to get something out of it. But you'll start picking up on these little things, right? So when you start operating inside of the spiritual realm, you will start to witness and realize that your intentions matter when you're coming outside, or when you're coming into this world and participating with other human beings. Your intentions matter, right? It matters. And so the thing is that why people are so confused with other people is because people are not reading each other's intentions. So you have to understand that the external world does not matter, right? There is somebody that can not do something for you, but they can still actually care. Rather than there's people that could do something for you and they can give two, craps about you. So you can start reading people's intentions by being more intentional with yourself. So, I always say this, everything you do, you should have intentions with it. How you come outside, how you take care of yourself, how you treat other people, how you treat the things that you have. How do you treat yourself? How do you speak to yourself, right? Are you being intentional? And once you start to develop this intentional meaning inside of your own life, I'm telling you, you're going to start to want this inside of everything you do. That's even when you're dealing with other people. You can tell when somebody's a very intentional person or they mean well, right? I've had people in my life, they were really, really tough to, deal with. But at the same time, I know deep down inside, they mean well, right? And I've had people inside of my life where, they've gave me a tough time, but I can actually really tell, they're really not that good of a person, because I can see how they treat themselves or what they're doing with themselves, right? So I've said this in one of my other videos, is that you have to learn to deal with multiple and multiple of people. The more people you deal with, the more data that you're going to obtain inside of your mind. So you can get a feel, like, everybody's different. I always say this, everybody's different, but we're not at the same time. And some people are, a little rougher around the edges. Some people are a little bit softer. Some people are more quieter and mischievous, right? Some people are, a little bit more louder, but they can be very sweet at heart. So this is the nuance of the world that we live in. Our world that we live in is not so black and white. And a lot of people want to place labels on things, but you really can't until you really have done the inner work and the deep dive to really touch other souls and speak amongst other souls, right? So there's really a big difference when you start to see, people who are intentional behind the things they do, right? Because I've said this before, I think in one of my videos, right? This is just a quick story. So there's this place that I love to eat at, right? I go there all the time to get their food. Well, I used to go there all the time to get their food. And one day their food place was closed, and I went to this other place that makes similar food. So it comes to find out that the other place that I went to is the brother. They're brothers. The other person, like, these two stores that I went to, they're owned. They're like family owned, and that's the brother. But one day I came back to the store that I usually come to, and I told the guy, I was like, oh, like, no, you make, like, the food is the same, but I told the guy that I usually come to that his food is better. They look the same, they have similar taste, but there's an intention behind the guy that I usually go to who cooks the food. There's an intention, there's just this there's a peaceful vibe, there's an attention that I love when going to this guy. I mean, like, I'm a type of person, I like to watch people, how they cook, how they do their stuff. But with him, there's total trust. I'm just like, go ahead, do what you do. There's some people in this world, like, I'm a very picky eater, but there's some people in this world I don't mind eating from their hands because I know the intentions, right? I don't care what they do with their hands because I know the intentions, right? Not everybody has the same intentions, and your intentions is where your magic is. It's where your magic lives. So that's why I always tell people this: don't accept everything from everybody. It could be the same, it can look the same, but it's not on a very spiritual level. It's not the same thing. I say this too, right? Just because you enter a store, right? Say, for instance, you enter a Best Buy, a Wendy's. You have to understand that store, although it has the name, it's not the same spirit. Because every single day, different spirits are walking in and out of that store, changing it. Just because they're selling you the product and the product looks a certain way, the same way, and just because they're selling you food and it looks the same way, it's not the same. And a lot of people don't understand this. This is why when you become more purposeful, you need to start to fix your intentions. And you want to be around people who have great intentions for you. Because when you mix that magic together, you're going to be able to create beautiful things. That's why you always want to watch people's intentions, not always what they do, right? That's why that's why you have to really observe What is the person creating around them? What is it? Sometimes you got to look at people and you have to see, what are they creating around themselves? Are they creating chaos? Are they creating peace? Are they creating love? Are they creating destruction? You know, people who are destructive also, they can give you the same thing. I've met people who, I'm telling you, I've met people who are very, very, you know, what's the word? I don't like using it, but I've met people who are very toxic, but at the same time, they know how to love on you. They know how to give you what you want. They know how to speak inside of your ears the way that you want, touch you the way that you want. You know, they know how to do everything so perfect. But because they come from a toxicity and their intentions are not as pure as what it looks like, that's why you may get a different outcome on your end. So I hope you guys like this video. Peace and love.